11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at noon Eastern. That's 9 Pacific for about an hour each day. We do 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week. We usually come up with those on Monday. So if you'd like to be part of the creation of the show, join us on Mondays. We run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. Gun Channels is a community we built a while back. It's focused on firearms. We're watching the comments that are coming from everybody that's watching us live over there. We're also watching the comments on YouTube. When it's all over, we'll take the audio of the best shows and post them over on iTunes. So stay tuned for those as podcasts. And we thank everybody who watches the show now or in the future that takes the time to leave us some feedback. Leave us comments, subscribe to the channel, and whatever platform it is you watch the show. All those things let us know you're out there, but they also help the show get recommended to more people. So we really do appreciate the effort. We have 4 hosts. Well, we have 3 hosts today. Bob's jumping in from Canada. He's back. And he's not there. So we got Jimmy jumping in from Phoenix, running the show.
Hey, good to be here.
And eventually Bob will come back or come off mute. I'm down here in Tucson, and we are getting ready to not be in Arizona anymore. So this is October 31st. And that will be the last day that you can jump over to Patreon and sign up for the gun show stuff for the month of November, I guess, if that's the way it works. I think it works that way. So that way you could get in on the gun show loophole stuff over at the Wanamaker gun show. So the big gun show that we're going to in Tulsa in a couple of days, really. So if you jump in next month for it, you'll be at the SAR show in Phoenix in December. But if you want to grab stuff from the Wanamaker show, then this would be the month to jump in. This is the last day. All right, with that, there's Bob. At least he turned his camera on. And maybe he'll figure out that he's muted. It looks like he's saying stuff, though.
Yeah, having a slow morning. No, I was getting myself a cup of tea. Sorry about that.
See, maybe if you drank coffee instead of tea, you will keep up with the show.
Tea's the best.
Maybe that's how Canadians are always a step or 2 behind the United States. We're drinking coffee. All right, so then today is Tuesday. We'll be dealing with Second Amendment today. And we're dealing with Second Amendment issues first. If we all go to different little groups, will we lose the power we do have? I'm assuming that means as the big group. Then we're going to have our wild card topic. So if you've got a suggestion for that one, we leave that one for Tuesdays. Eventually, though, we'll start having some interviews in this segment. And then our State of the State, where we spotlight one of the states each week. And today it's the state of Illinois. We'll also be talking about gun shops and gun of the day, that kind of thing. But before we do, usually take a break at the beginning, see if anything happened overnight, anything worth talking about. I lost my ability to live stream last night, so went on to YouTube and I got a big message. In fact, I think I'll play that video since it's not that long, is it? And then
kind of heard about that.
Yeah, it was annoying. So I was actually about to turn off the computer and then noticed that I couldn't log into YouTube anymore. So I made a quick video about it this morning. We'll play that here. If I can get it to a screen share. Oh, isn't that nice? They put an ad in front of it. Thanks, YouTube. Went to log on to the gun website YouTube channel the other day, and we have a community guideline strike against the channel. So I thought I'd post a video to let people know what it looks like when YouTube does this to you. So I left the screen up here so you can take a look at it. You'll know right away if this happens because you won't be able to log into your YouTube channel. You'll get this big pink message instead. And until you click acknowledge down at the bottom, you're not able to log into the account. So I left it open here so you can take a closer look at it. It'll describe the community guidelines, which describe what they allow and what they don't allow on YouTube. They claim that our video, Mac 10 Full Auto, was determined to violate their guidelines. So briefly describe here, YouTube doesn't allow content that encourages or promotes violent or dangerous acts that have inherent risk of physical harm or death. So our video is about 12 minutes of me looking at Mac 10 45 ACP full auto subgun that's empty the entire time. We're looking at its operation, its manual of arms, some of the accessories, how they work. We open it up and take a look at its internals, how the pieces work, and what they're made out of, and basically put it back together, and that's it. They would never take it to the range, would never even shoot it. It's just a 12-minute like nerd out on a Mac 10. So they go on to say the only depictions of such activities that they allow need to be educational or documentary in nature. Okay. So then it goes on to say the impact of the strike is that I'm going to get a punishment, and the punishment in our case is that we cannot live stream. We can't do any live hangouts or anything for 3 months. So of course we're appealing that, and that's not necessarily obvious. It says you can click on this form, which doesn't do anything when you click on that link. So there are some videos out there of other people who've had this happen to their account, who've put up information about how to appeal, and we'll be following some of their leads. So we'll keep everybody aware, posted here over on Gun Channels and on the Daily Gun Show, our podcast that we do every day at noon Eastern. We'll be keeping people up to date that way, and as soon as we can go live again, we will do so. So thought I'd post a video though to let people know what it's like if a video gets determined to violate the terms of service. This video was posted in October of 2014. This is 2017, so this is a 3-year-old video that they've now determined, caused this reaction. So if you do want to watch the video, we have it over on VidMe. You can follow the link and watch it over there and determine for yourself if you think this is a violation. Let us know what you think in the comments or over on the comments of the Daily Gun Show. And until next time, thanks for watching.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to start moving my videos over to VidMe.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. And I looked too, and the, I mean, it's not being strike or anything like that, but I was looking at the Daily Gun Show and at Early Watch, and both of them are already not advertiser friendly before we even aired for the whole week.
Yeah, well, because of you, because you're always swearing all the time.
Yeah.
And, up until I was fine until they figured out that I hang out with YouTube. Then they stroked me on YouTube also. Anyway, so yeah, that was my adventure last night. It was my trick or treat for the holiday.
Unbelievable.
That just means I can't do live.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
nuts.
I can jump into other people's live stuff, obviously, but I can't do live stuff, like create it on my own. So that means I'll have to stick them on one of the other channels. But it's annoying. If you only had the one channel, that would definitely be annoying.
Yeah.
Well, even having to open up another channel, 'cause I remember when I had the actual like Early Watch YouTube channel and then changed it over to Early Watch Chat, well, Jimmy James, and yeah, it sucks because you don't have the same followers. Some of them don't follow over, and I mean, it's a complete waste of time. I don't know. Definitely sucks.
I think YouTube's like shooting itself in the foot. Well,
Not really.
I guess as long as cat videos are still popular.
Yeah, as long as people are watching that kind of stuff, then, or whatever is popular over there, those will be all right. But anyway, so we'll move into the first segment of the show, which is, what if we all go to little groups and we lose the power that we have as a big group? As far as Second Amendment stuff.
That's kind of my biggest concern with everybody talking about splitting off from NRA and joining these other groups. Like, unless we know one of them is going to get everybody, which is not going to happen. It just to me is, you know, you don't divide your army. Well, you definitely don't divide your army into a whole bunch of little pieces and then try fight one monolithic monster army. And that's basically where we're at, right? Because the left is very much like on point and together on their issue, which is no one should have a gun. Much as they don't want to say that, that's what they want.
Right. And now if we were broken up into like little groups and those little groups all were on the same page and weren't fighting with each other and had the same goal. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all have the same goal in mind, but the ways of getting there, like that'd be cool. But the thing is that all these little groups, like Bob, like you were just saying, they don't agree on very much. So it's hard to get everybody together. So yeah, I would think that it would make us weaker as a community.
Yep.
Well, I don't agree. So first off, I guess there's three things. First off, you said, I forget how you started that whole thing, but like if we all break the army, so where's this army? We have 5 million people in the NRA, and that's not including, that's including everybody that buys gift subscriptions or has 3, one going to the office, one going to their house, and one going to their other house or something. So they allegedly have 5 million members. We know that's just a fraction of the gun owners. So they're not all of us. They're just a big one right now. And number 2, what has that done for us? I'm not saying they haven't done anything. They definitely take credit for everything. But what have they actually done to unite and organize and push? Definitely become a big punching bag for the other side. But they're just going to say gun lobby. They're not going to ever focus on gun nuts. They're just going to focus on gun lobby. So they'll switch from NRA to gun lobby or something as simple as that. And the NRA, not having the NRA, I don't know if that's necessarily critical or crucial to our position. I don't think, nobody's going to say that we have what we have today because of the NRA.
Not at all. I wouldn't say that at all. No.
Because my position is then it requires that we appreciate and we can trust and that we can have faith in, literally have faith in our fellow man. Because if you don't have the NRA, which is a substitute for state, which is a substitute for somebody else doing all the work, like if you don't have the NRA organizing us, keeping us motivated, whatever you want to, these little magical things characteristics you want to give the NRA, without the NRA, that implies that everybody has to keep doing that, motivate themselves from the ground up. And I think that's something I feel like I guess my position is that other people have that willingness to do it. And I don't think we need everybody to have that willingness to do it. So that's why I'd like to see, I wouldn't be afraid of a future without the NRA, because it would allow for that future for a bunch of individuals who the Pelosi's and the Bloombergs can't anticipate and can't just bully the way she can bully the NRA. So I don't think that the NRA is crucial. And I think that there's a positive future without the NRA. But at the same time, I don't think the NRA is killing us and that there has to be no NRA in the future. It could be changed. Group.
No, yeah, the NRA isn't killing us. I would consider them, especially in light of recent events and other things that they've pulled compromise-wise, that they could be considered a weak link, I guess. But what I was meaning by getting everybody on the same page is not one big state one, or federal one, but have everybody in their own little grassroots state, whatever, and then have a main one where all of those can kind of like get on the same page. I don't know. My idea is kind of weird, but have a group that's kind of like the NRA, but combines all of the state grassroots stuff and actually like listens to them. Fights for the same things, same way.
The Second Amendment suggests that we have a militia made up of the people. So why doesn't that apply to electronic defense of our rights as well as physical defense of our bodies? So I think we're tasked with that as free people, that, in order to remain free, we have to be out ever vigilant. And that's electronically and, in conversation and in who we represent, and if we have to be vocal about who we represent us as state and these groups.
Oh yeah, definitely. If the opposition sees us taking a break, that's when they come at us harder. Harder.
I don't think we need to tear it all down in order to get to some future, because maybe it'll work. But I think if we can get towards that future, not be afraid of that future, and the NRA sees that we're willing to have a future with no NRA, that could be the kind of thing that gets them to think twice. If they think that our option is chaos or with NRA, like there's either an NRA or there's chaos. If they, if everyone thinks that's the options, then the NRA is pretty secure. But if we can all see a future that isn't scary, that has no NRA, then they better start doing as much as they can to make us happy.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, NRA may, the fact that people are leaving the NRA, because I think people are, that may be a wake-up call for them to start being a little more proactive about going after repressive gun laws rather than, just going, well, we'll just pick the one that's least onerous to us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so the question is, if we go to different little groups, will we lose the power we have? So, yes or no?
I don't know, man. I would almost have to ask, what power are we losing?
The power to be a lobby in government. I would say yes. If we lost the NRA, it would be difficult to have the respect, I guess, the respect as a subset of the community, because it would look like we're divided or that there's lack of interest in the NRA until something else came along. Either we stood united enough to be the gun nuts, those crazy gun nuts that organize, or if another organization stood up to be the spear point, then to take the focus of the abuse. I think that they would see the loss of the NRA as a weakening or division on our side, and then therefore a lack of interest or a lack of unity.
Yeah, I hear you. And I was kind of going back towards like more recent examples, I guess, where people are obviously unhappy with the NRA that are, quote, gun nuts or gun friendly. They're going against the NRA right now. Not everybody, but the news media will still pull out the NRA as the evil monster, evil gun monster or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. Do they even really pay attention to that? I guess in droves. Like if people just like everybody quit the NRA, I guess they'd notice it.
Well, I mean, anything that happens exists. The facts are there, so they might not notice it as it's happening, but whenever they need to, they'll go back and use the facts to their advantage.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like the whole bump stock thing, been around forever, and one incident, and then it's
so look how
worst
many
thing in the world.
exist where people are like, here's the bump stock, here's the trigger, here's the full auto, here they all are compared, and here's how you buy this one, and here's how you buy that one. That never scared them, that never bothered them, because they have no actual interest. But yeah, when it was of some advantage to them to go back and research, they found all those videos.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, and the worst part of it, there's not enough information on the Las Vegas shooting to know for sure he even used bump stocks, or that it was all bump stock. They're just not talking about that whole weird situation.
Yeah, but that is a good example though of how, like G-Wes was just saying, that they could dig up stuff and use it against us.
Well, especially this giving strikes after the fact. I mean, that's crazy. If it, that's like, you're driving down the road and, they change the speed limit. Well, you follow the speed limit when they change it. but they come back and 10 years later and go, yeah, but you know what? Before they changed that speed limit, you were speeding, so now you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't you used to drive down this road last year when the speed limit was still 45 miles an hour? Yes, I did. And did you drive the speed limit? You bet. Okay, well, now you're getting a ticket because now the speed limit's 35, and you just admitted that you used to drive 45 down this road.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a big deal. I mean, that's no problem as long as you know your place. You take your punishment.
Right.
We can all live in harmony.
All we need is the ability to read the future, and we're good.
I just don't want them hooking up one of them cages to my face where a rat comes up to my face. And 1 + 1 is 3.
Oh, rats are cuddly little things.
Yeah, but they don't feed the rats. Then they come right up to your face on this cage, eat your face.
Or the one where they put the rats in the bucket and then put a hot coal on top of them. That's not fun.
All right, well, so I guess we solved that one. You're welcome. We'll move along to the wild card topic. Do we get any suggestions for wild card topics today?
Not seeing a whole lot, but I might have missed some of that. What's scrolling down?
I can quit buying them whenever I want. So Mel is saying that he's not a gun nut. He can quit buying them whenever he wants. I'm going to say that's a good subject for today. Can you quit buying guns?
Yeah, well, like what makes a gun nut? How many is too many guns?
Yeah. So first, though, we'll take a break between the first and second segment of the show, which we like to do each day, and feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. And we're done with the series. So what do we want to? Who do we want to feature today? Anyone? Why don't we feature Mel the Nut?
I was just going to say that. Yeah, Mel the Nut, because he came up with a question.
So the American does something. The Canadian is like, I was about to do that.
Hey, I was.
So Mel the Nut, he just offered the suggestion today, and he's active in the chats.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and he helped me find a local FFL in the Cook County area for my mom. So yeah, he's a good dude.
Oh, right on. So what, is he in that area of the woods?
No, I believe he knew somebody that once was.
Oh, okay. Because as we're going to talk about Illinois here in a minute.
Yep.
All right, so we built Gun Channels. It was almost 4 years ago. The 15th will be our fourth anniversary, and it's been almost completely run by its members since then. It's I guess you could say its flavor has changed. Bob's been around since the beginning. Its flavor has changed over time, and it's again 100% reflection of the members over there. And it's been not always awesome, but it's been pretty cool all the time. And then right now I think we're in the heyday. I think we've had right now Gun Channel's been one of the coolest kind of, what would you call this, like versions of Gun Channels in a while. A lot of active people doing interesting stuff. It's an active time for the community. It's not necessarily we're not facing a ton of persecution, I guess, or whatever you want to call these, infringement, but there's a healthy amount. It's enough to keep people interested, and a lot of fun over there right now.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up. Just yesterday, I was in a chat mentioning how it's almost like the Gun Channels has been revitalized with these new people coming in, and they're so active. It's just been it's like a breath of fresh air into the channel. Maybe we're getting a little stale, bunch of old fogies sitting around, but yeah, some of the new guys like Ghost and Clover and Hatfield. I mean, man, like it's really starting to kind of spark, and it seems like we're getting more and more new people coming in, and they're being really active, not just sitting back and watching what everybody else is doing. So I really think it's I really think it's on a roll, on a good roll, let's say.
Yeah, peaks and valleys for sure. So anyway, Mel is I don't know how long you've been around. I've recognized the name for a while, but has he jumped into live chats? I think he has.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. He has. Yeah, because I've talked to him. So Uh, at least a year, I'm thinking, if not longer. Let us know in the chat there. Now, how long you been a member or how long you been hanging out?
No, I've seen him chatting back and forth on the text chat and early watch for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm. But he has been, like Night Strike's even agreeing with me. He has been, and yeah, I shouldn't. I've talked to Mel quite a few times actually.
All right, so then we'll get into, can you quit buying whenever you want? I could. I think I got over, like I collected too much or something, and so it was easy to start removing them. But now I'm to where I'm probably going to go down to just a few guns. I think I've seen a couple of people do that before, and I never really understood it. But now I think I understand it a little bit better.
I'm actually in the boat of contemplating downsizing myself. It's a very hard decision to make because usually I'll find myself when I'm in the gun shop, like, dude, I'll go into debt. Like I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I know I don't have the money for that right now, but
I want it.
yeah, I think I'm gonna get it. Like, yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure that I could force myself to. I just won't enter gun shops ever. But do I want to? Is the question.
Well, I can't. I have to not go to gun shops, really. I mean, because if I go to gun shops, and I have money, I'll buy stuff because I don't have a problem with acquiring them. But I also found that, like when I needed money, right, I had to go in and remove some from the pile to make money. There's guns in there that I forgot that I had bought. So you can get to that point where you're like, oh crap! Like there's some you never even have a chance to shoot. You know, you buy 3 of them at a time. You go out and you shoot 2 of them, and by the time you realize that you bought another one that you're shooting, so there's a gun you got in there that you never even shot before, and when you get that kind of system going, it's real easy to get rid of them when you don't even remember you own them.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, with our government now, the government we have in power now in Canada, they are starting to move on stricter gun laws and stuff, and registering long guns and that. So I have gotten rid of all my long guns, and I only own the handguns that have to be registered. It's one of those things, but yeah, we all got to make sacrifices. But how many guns do you need? More than what I've got. And how many do I want? Lots. I don't think there should be a limit on it. I mean, it's whatever you can afford and whatever you want to have. I mean, just because you have firearms, regardless of whether it's 1 or 1,000, you know, doesn't make you either more or less dangerous or anything. It's just tools. I mean, how many hammers do you need? How many saws? I don't even want to think about how many hand tools I got because they're everywhere.
Right, and it's just because handguns, well, guns tend to be, well, have to be serial numbered, that you got to think of them, because I don't think the same thing about hammers either. I've got like tool bags from people before. I've inherited tools. I've, bought tools at a pawn shop and it had a hammer in there. So I've acquired a bunch of hammers and I don't think about it. Firearms I have to think about because the regulation on them and all that. So when we're talking about a lot of firearms, I have ones I got for free. I've got really inexpensive ones, $10, $20 guns. I've got $60 guns. So, when I'm talking about guns, having a bunch of them, some of that's the Saturday Night Special stuff. Some of it's just, I like to buy broke guns when they're around. Figuring I might be able to, let's say I buy a gun that's missing a bolt, for $60 someplace. And then I figure I go to a gun show and I find the bolt somewhere for $10. Now I got $70 into that gun. If I can sell it for 80, it was a, interesting way to make $10. So, nobody would think twice if it was a chainsaw and I bought it minus a few parts and I was going to sell it at a swap meet later. But because they're firearms, and we have this discussion about firearms, sure, I got dozens and dozens and dozens of them, but, I probably have more broken guns than some people even have guns. But because they're firearms, we have to think of them as, not just a bunch of parts, but as firearms.
Yeah, see, that's thought provoking right there, because I think I got pretty much an entire AK besides like the barrel and parts. I got a bunch of AR parts, a bunch of Glock parts. I never looked at it like that.
You never just buy like, go to a gun show and you see somebody's got like an old 22 or something. It's broke or it's missing pieces and it's like $10. You don't just buy stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they have at my local. They got this little like junk case, and they usually will have either broken stuff in there or the Saturday night specials, which a lot of people aren't really into. And I love going to that case.
Yeah, and it's just fun. It's an interesting way to tinker around, play gunsmith, and if you've got access to a range that doesn't cost a lot, and ammo doesn't cost nothing for a little gun. And I've talked before about you can buy parts kits at a good gun show. You can buy parts for a gun, so you can just buy a bunch of replacement parts and try to get a gun working. And then there's no reason to have to use the same parts. I know people, and I've played around a little bit with just taking parts and generically parts, a trigger, a hammer, trying to get them to fit together and work them. And that could be half the fun. So again, this is something that if somebody had a bunch of watches, nobody would care. If you got a shoebox full of watches that you just play with and you tinker with once in a while, or like my grandpa had an old-fashioned wooden cuckoo clock, nobody'd care that he's got that thing sitting around in parts. But because it's a firearm, I got to count it as a freaking firearm. So it's not just another little thing I have that cost me $10 that I have in the shop, waiting for me to remember to buy a bolt for it or to remember to get a front sight for it or whatever it is. But I have to count it as another firearm in the collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So can you quit buying whenever you want? For me, I can only answer that by not having money. If I had money, like what I'm doing now, driving around to gun shows, I'd have a giant warehouse here. I mean, I'd look like a hoarder, even more than I do. So, yeah, I couldn't stop buying them. I like them too.
It would be hard. It would definitely be hard for me as well. You bringing that up, though? Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I like buying the little inexpensive stuff and then playing with it.
Yeah, but what you said earlier, right now, just reminded me too. One of the gun shops that I used to love to go to, they closed down 2 years ago. He used to sell gun in a bag, and it was pretty much just a bunch of, like you were saying, miscellaneous pieces and stuff like that. And you pay like $25 for it, and you get a few of them. You probably put together a gun. I don't know. Those were really neat to me. I don't know. I miss that.
It's like a puzzle for a grown-up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those are real neat. So that's all I wanted to say.
So we got people on the YouTube side. For some reason, the YouTube side's more chatty than the gun channel side today. But they're talking about how many hammers they own. So let's put that challenge out there because we don't challenge our audience enough. Throw out a video on how many hammers you own. So go over to your toolbox or gather them all up. For me, I'd have to gather them all up from around and then do a video and show how many hammers you have. And if you want to make a big point about, like, how come I have to, if I had this many guns, somebody consider me weird, but if I have this many hammers, somebody really cares. And you don't necessarily have to get into that, but just to illustrate that point, let's see if we can get a bunch of videos that just talk about how many hammers we have, and then maybe we can use those for a project in the future.
As long as we don't talk about putting a bump handle on them or something, automatic hammering.
They make automatic hammers. Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's air hammers.
Yep.
Hammers.
Yeah. For getting into light plots.
But just regular old hammers, I'm talking. But anyway, that's interesting because, yeah, I can't even start. If I started counting, I think I'm closer to the 25 than 12 also. By the time you get into little hammers for doing little stuff, and then like the car hammers and all the rubber ones and the mallets, and then I got blacksmithing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of sledgehammers laying around.
You just think how many ball-peen hammers you have if you do mechanics work. You got everything from little tiny ones up to, great big 8-pound ball peen. So
now, when it comes to hammers, are we considering nail guns hammers also?
No.
Come on. The robot replacement for a hammer?
I'm just saying.
I wonder what would happen if you did a video about an air gun, like an air nailer, and then talked about how it's got full auto features and stuff like that. I wonder if they'd ban it.
All you got to do is take a piece of duct tape and tape down the little safety, and you can whale nails all over the place. We used to do that all the time.
I used to shoot gophers with one on job sites until I got in trouble for it.
Imagine going to the job site with Bob. There's just like this little thing of nails with a gopher in the middle of it, all dead.
They work.
Like finished kitchen, completely done. Bob's in the back working on the shed or something. Boom, there's a bunch of nails and a dead gopher in the kitchen. Totally inappropriate.
With high-vis orange paint on it.
Yeah, he sprays it with like the ID paint to mark it. All right, so that was our Can You Quit Buying? Got into a weird bunch of topics there. So then, and a challenge for hammers. So now we'll get into the state of the state, or do we want to jump into one of the daily things? We got to kick it in here.
Let's see here. Before we get into the state of the state thing, I had a little secret that I want to tell.
That was sneaky, Jimmy. I didn't see that one coming for sure.
That was a hell of a transition right there. I'm going to do that every time now. Randomly. So everybody knows what that sound means. It's time to crack your knuckles and whip out them keyboards. Today, we are not only going to have an unprecedented visual daily pop quiz, but in order to be eligible, we need to see some people over on the Gun Channel side answering. So, get ready. I'm going to screen share right now.
Channels only?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Except that we did that all the time back in the day. So
yeah. Modernly unprecedented. So I was unable to get this to Zoom, but what's this gun? Should be able to tell.
What do you mean you can't hold down the control key and then, or you don't have a mouse?
Yeah, I do.
So hold down the control key and then scroll the wheel on your mouse. Like click on the picture, then hold down the control key on the keyboard and then scroll the mouse. The wheel on the mouse. Nothing?
Hold control. Click on a picture.
Hold the control and then scroll. There you go.
Oh, and it's also how to use your computer.
Huh?
XM109.
Nope.
Some kind of 22?
Nope. I got 2 monitors up this time, so nobody's going to get any answers out of me.
Oh, Jimmy got another monitor.
Except the answer is in the URL.
Nope.
It's not a HQ default.jpg?
Nope. That was the hard part too. I had to make sure it wasn't in the URL.
How about a Kazvistic?
Oh, somebody's saying Lottie L39. I don't think so.
Nope.
OSB 96. I think Angry's just making stuff up.
Yeah. I'll give you guys a hint. Think South Africa.
Is that for a lion? Or elephants? Oh, that's an elephant gun. That's what it is.
The anti-elephant gun.
Well, you know, you can get some pretty angry elephants.
Well, we can't have this going on forever, so a couple more guesses here.
I found a 1 hour timer, so it can go about 1 hour. So there's no more quiz.
I think Night Strike's got it, doesn't he?
Yep. Night Strike is today's champion.
Holy gee. I can't believe Night Strike got one right. He's Googling it. Oh, yeah. Now everybody else is coming through with it.
Yeah, good job, everybody.
Yeah. There's Angry. Yep. But Night Strike got it. Oh, you must have made that way too easy, Jimmy.
Oh, right there by that handle. That's
I thought that was a 3D site.
So the answer is the Denell NTW 20 millimeter.
Now,
Congrats, Night
is that is that designed as an anti-tank weapon, or is that anti-personnel, or
Anti-material, I guess, but they could use it. I guess they used it for against tanks also.
well, I guess light armored vehicles would work, eh? Like
Yeah.
APCs and stuff. Imagine that punch through the armor on an APC fairly easily.
Oh yeah, nice fat 20 millimeter flying at you.
Yeah. But at least it would tear everything up on the outside, so you'd lose your vision ports and shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, congrats, Night Strike.
Melvin Hutt says that's anti-get stuff out of the way. Oh, Alice just jumped into gun channels. Hey, Alice.
All right, so I guess Bob ain't doing nothing extra or fancy or nothing for Night Strike.
No, Night Strike does not deserve the hot shot.
Sorry, I got distracted. I got to do that because I think it's so rare.
Smoking his marijuana joint over there, and he lost track of what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's just, you know, I was still kind of a bit in shock. Night Strike got something right, but Night Strike, that makes you the daily pop quiz hot shot of the day. Oh, jeez, that's hard on me.
That's
every
even
time
worse
Bob's
when Bob hit. That's even worse when he has his camera on. We can see the pain that he goes through.
He does it so we can watch him die a little every time he does it.
I really can see the veins pop out in my head.
All right, so we can move on to the next thing.
We doing a communist state of the state, or we doing a daily thing?
Let's talk about compromise and the second.
I'm looking for the video for the gun shop of the day, so why don't we do whatever else besides that is? Or do something else besides that, I guess.
Oakley dokley. I guess we could do the state of the state. I got that for here. Today we are doing Illinois. Illinois.
Just tell Night Strike to read between the lines, okay?
1978.
Oh, so Illinois shall issue with limited discretion. Let's see here. State permit to purchase. Yes and yes for long guns and handguns. You need a FOID card. FOID card is firearms owner identification. Owner permit required. Yes on long guns and handguns. Firearm registration. No and no. Yeah, they just register the people out there, not the guns. License required for concealed carry, not applicable for long guns, and yes for handguns. As I said earlier, it's a shall issue state. They have limited discretion. Concealed carry licenses are issued by the state police. Licenses issued by other states are not recognized, but non-residents from states with substantially similar licensing requirements can apply for an Illinois non-resident license. Open carry, negative on long guns and handguns. Vehicle carry, no for long guns, yes for handguns. An Illinois concealed carry license is required for Illinois residents. Non-residents may carry in a vehicle if they are eligible to carry in their home state. Now, that's interesting. I didn't know that one. State preemption or local restriction, partial on long guns and handguns, from the Public Act 098-0063, Firearm Concealed Carry Act, preemption for regulation of handguns and handgun ammunition, and for the transportation of all firearms, preemption for laws regulating assault weapons, unless enacted before July 20th, 2013. Assault weapon law, no. Cook County and the city of Chicago have separately banned the possession of assault weapons. as have several Chicago suburbs prior to the preemption deadline of July 20th, 2013. Mag capacity restrictions, negative. No state level restrictions. Some local jurisdictions have enacted various magazine capacity restrictions. NFA weapons restricted. Yes on long guns, yes on handguns. Automatic firearms, short-barreled shotguns, and suppressors prohibited. Short-barreled rifles allowed only for curios and relic license holders, or members of a bona fide military reenactment group. AOW, a large bore destructive device allowed with proper approval and tax stamp from ATF. Castle Doctrine, partial. That's weird. Illinois has no stand your ground law. However, there is also no duty to retreat. The use of force is justified when a person reasonably believes that it is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or another, or the commission of a forcible felony. There are some additional protections for defense against unlawful entry into a dwelling. Peaceable journey laws. Yes, yes. Illinois has state preemption for the transportation of any firearm and ammunition. Non-Illinois residents are granted a limited exception to lawfully carry concealed firearm within a vehicle if they are eligible to carry a firearm in public under the laws of their own state. Non-residents who are permitted to possess a firearm in their own state are not required to have a FOID card, or who are permitted, excuse me. And background checks required for private sales. Yes. For long guns, yes. For handguns. The seller must verify the buyer's FOID card with the Illinois State Police and must keep a record of that sale for at least 10 years. FOID cards. To legally possess or purchase firearms or ammunition, Illinois residents must have firearms owner identification card, which is issued by the Illinois State Police. The police must issue a FOID card to eligible applicants. An applicant is disqualified if he or she has been convicted of a felony or act of domestic violence, is the subject of an order of protection, has been convicted of an assault or battery, or been a patient in a mental institution within the last 5 years, has been adjudicated as mental defective, or is an illegal. Applicants under the age of 21 must have the written consent of parent or legal guardian who is also legally able to possess firearms. So every time a firearm is sold or transferred, the buyer is required to present their FOID card. This applies to private sales between individuals as well as sales by federal firearm licenses. For firearm sales by an FFL holder or at a gun show, the seller must perform an automated dial-up check with state police to verify that the FOID card is valid and to redo the background check of the buyer. This additional checking is known as a Firearm Transfer Inquiry Program, FTIP. For private sales not at a gun show, the seller must also verify the buyer's FOID with the state police and receive a transfer approval number either via a website or with a phone call. The buyer is also required to present their FOID card when purchasing ammo. And that is, sadly, that's Illinois.
Wow, that sucks. That sucks. I see it.
Yeah. Well, they did get their, I know just from talking to Tony that they're able to do their whole concealed carry thing now and all that. So, I mean, that's cool. That's been different now for the past couple of years. I don't know, man. Yeah, it sucks out there.
Yeah, that's just, I wouldn't live there. I mean, you've got the choice of all these states that have kind of reasonable laws.
What about the theater, Bob? Chicago. It's the heart of culture. whatever. Uncouth.
I thought that was New York.
Sandwiches. Yeah, but there's a theater in Illinois.
Well, there's theaters in almost any town.
Yeah, like the Riviera. It's not Broadway.
Yeah.
How about food then? How about
Multiplex theaters?
food? How about food then?
That Taste of Chicago.
Yeah. Well, other than they've got a good pizza, but other than that, I don't think there's anything in Illinois that, makes you want to go live there.
There's a festival called Taste of Chicago. It happens about once a year, and they got like different food vendors from every. I would leave wherever I'm at. Yeah, I would leave wherever I'm at just to go there for a weekend.
Well, yeah, go there for a weekend to visit, but for God's sakes, don't live there. Everybody should just move out, and it'll be empty, and then they can have their festival. Everybody comes back for a weekend and then leaves again. Imagine if people just did that, just went, nope, not going to live in a state that has those, and they just left the state. Be all these empty, barren states with nobody living there. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be great for you because you want to see America decay, but I don't think
Well, I'm just thinking, there's laws about, you abandon it, so that means it's free to the taking.
Oh yeah, so now he wants to take it over. So
it's a
one step away from a violent overthrow.
It's peaceful that way.
Mm-hmm. Then he's going to use some sort of right of way or something to get a road from Canada through Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know if everybody left, then it would be bad. I don't think that's the way to do it. I think you fight for your land, your homeland, and Illinois might not be great, and it might be one of the least best states right now, but it's certainly not as bad as it was not too long ago, and it can get better.
Well, it's not as bad as California, right?
I don't know. Depends on what you're looking at, I guess.
I don't think anything's as bad as California, is it?
Jersey's getting there.
What you're looking at.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
no Floyd in California. I can go to California and buy ammo. I can't go to Illinois and buy ammo.
See, now I was always under the impression, and this was kind of from talking to Tony, so I was figuring that if somebody from out of state was coming out there, I thought that as long as they're able to buy guns and ammo or whatever, there has a CHL, they could buy ammo. That's what I thought. But yeah, I guess I was wrong.
You're wrong. You get your information from the streets.
Yeah, from Tony.
No, you have a Floyd.
That's how we learned about the birds and the bees.
Yeah, I just learned about them last year.
But I think you can buy ammo off of somebody, like at a gun show, or just off somebody without a Floyd. It's just the dealers.
Oh, okay.
People who are required to use the Floyd have to use it for ammo too, I think. I'm assuming, but I'm not in Illinois. Anyway, that's your knowledge about that state. Every week we try to pick a new state. I think we're going in order of the states or in order of the tour. So that means next week it'll be Indiana, the neighboring state.
Indiana,
the state it wishes it was Illinois all the time.
Indiana. Didn't they make a song about that? Yeah, they did.
It's called Gary, Indiana, but yeah.
Cool.
All right. So that'll take us on to the next thing. I think for today's gun shop we're going to do remind everybody about this being the last day for the gun shop and gun show stuff perk over on Patreon.
The second year of the Gun Show Loophole Tour has been a great success. On the last leg of the tour, we spent 36 days on the road. We covered 9,000 miles. We went to 18 states, and we visited over 43 gun shops. We found 6 firearms museums.
I counted it more accurately, and it's 60 gun shops. 60 gun shops.
And visited 6 gun shows in 6 different states. Altogether, we've compiled at least 80 videos that'll go up on our YouTube channel and on the Daily Gun Show over the next weeks. And we have a new goal. With your help, we have a plan to obtain that goal. So one of our perks over on Patreon, we call the Gun Show and Gun Shop Stuff. That's $50 a month. And here's how it breaks down. First, we take the first $25 and we go buy stuff at gun shops and gun shows around the country. Then we take about $7 and we ship that to you each month. The rest of the money we use to cover the fees and to put gas in the van that gets us out to those gun shows and gun shops each month. Now, if we can get to our goal, which is 150 people to participate at this level, we'll have about $4,000 of your money to distribute out to gun shops and gun shows each month. So that's our plan. We'd like to work towards this. The results of this will be support for local gun shops and gun shows out there with the videos and the people posting the packages that they get each month in the mail. And of course, you'll get cool stuff in the mail each month. We'll be posting things on the Daily Gun Show, on our websites, on YouTube, Instagram, and of course, conversations over on gun channels as well. So if this is something you'd like to see continue and you'd like to see expand in this direction, please consider checking out our Patreon page. We have a couple of different levels of support, and particularly the gun shop and gun show stuff. Let us know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.
That's
So like I say, this is October 31st. So that means today is the last day to jump in to be part of it for next month, where we're going to Tulsa to the big Wanamaker gun show. So even if you want to just try it out for a month, help us get the ball rolling on it. That'll give us just, more stuff to look for out there and to buy. We have a form you fill out once you become a member over on the Patreon. You'll have access to a link there that will take you to a form like we showed you yesterday on the show that we use to let you kind of filter what you want. Either it's going to be logo stuff, or I guess let's go find the form real quick. So I think I'm still screen sharing there. Of course, now I got to figure out where it is. Can you see that still?
Yeah.
Okay. So you basically can personalize your perk. Either if you want, you can choose to get just logo stuff, like stuff from the stores, logo shirts, patches, stickers, that kind of thing. If you want to do military surplus, unique and inexpensive stuff. So I'll be looking, through the bins and the people that show up at gun shows with surplus stuff. Then you got the gun geek stuff. So that'll be tools and gear for guns, and let us know in the comments what kind of guns you're looking for. And we're not sending you guns, but we're sending you stuff for that type of gun. Then the ammo collection is for people that want to geek out on ammo and create an ammo collection. I'll be happy to send you interesting, unique, and rare ammo each month. Then a book club for people that are more into that kind of thing. And there's lots and lots of books and manuals and magazines all the time that are super cheap, right? And then, of course, most people have been choosing random, which is just a little bit of everything and anything. So there's places there where you can give us a color preference. So if you're doing the logos and you want to get shirts and stuff, let us know if you want like lighter or darker color shirts, and then size, and then any comments, like say whatever guns you might be using, what kind of surplus stuff you like. As the stuff gets larger and you have more and more people, I'm probably going to have like Jimmy or others helping me shop. So we'll print out the list and we'll know what kind of stuff we're looking for. I can't say we're going to know everybody personally, but right now we have 14 people participating. It's pretty much possible for us to remember what everybody wants. So if you think this is an interesting project and you'd like to see it keep going, then consider jumping in today, because this is the last day. It'll charge everybody tonight, I guess, or tomorrow for November or for October, however it's staged. And then that'll be funds for getting us to Tulsa, which is already covered. We're going. And then, like I say, you'll get a package later on in the month with a bunch of cool stuff from the gun show itself and all the gun shops we visit along the way. We've got potential to find cool stuff.
Yeah, this is a genius idea. I mean, I'd jump into it if I had the extra cash right now, because I love surplus stuff. I mean, it smells neat, and it's I don't know, it's just cool stuff. I like thinking about the history of it, right? You get gun pouches and stuff like that, and web gear and stuff, and you just think like, who wore this, and where, what did they do when they were wearing it? And it can just let your imagination run wild on the history of it.
Yeah, I figure some of these places, they'll be cool with the idea, and we can say, here's what we're trying to do. I'm going to spend $750 with you today. Walk me around your store and show me what's cool. Maybe we do it live if I get my live privileges back, or I do it on another channel.
Yeah.
Let the people kind of point at what they're interested in the store and let the guy tell us the story behind it. You know, it might be neat just to figure out where he acquired something or how long he's had it, or like you say, where the item was made for or something. But some of these weird things, like the little straps that are designed to hold down a missile, you know, while it's being stowed or whatever before it goes on the plane, and then they just throw it away. Some of that stuff is the coolest stuff just to look at, or sometimes it's super useful. You know, the packaging is super strong, so you can use some of that packaging stuff, and a lot of times it's cheap. So, you know, depending, if you go to a surplus shop that's right next to a fort or a base where they're, you know, kicking that stuff off surplus, that stuff can be, you know, $2-3, where you get far away from that, you know, where it's coming from the source, and now you're paying $15-20 for some of these things.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so much of that military stuff can be repurposed in so many different ways, and it's really good quality stuff. You know, it's made to real standards, right? Rather than buying a knockoff made in, you know, who knows where, and its quality can be good or bad, right? You never know. But if it's military surplus, if it's in reasonable condition, I mean, we're talking quality stuff.
Yeah, and then the thing of the books and stuff, you know, again, I like looking for books, but I can't go to every gun show. But if I had a buyer out there looking for my AK books at various shows, and you know, we can do side stuff. So if somebody's, you know, if I know that somebody's looking for grand books and I find a specific book they're looking for and it's $80 or something, you know, now I can text them and say, hey, I found this book. Do you want it? Yeah, looking forward to it. So anyway, this is the Big Tulsa Show coming up. We'll be talking about that tonight in Ghost Chat, and the Tulsa or Bust project will be ending tonight. So if we jump over to Indiegogo, one of the crowdfunding platforms out there that's for creating projects, right? Or in this case, an event. I'm trying to bring that up on the screen here. We set one up for the Gun Channels people who might want to see everybody get together at a place in Tulsa. So there's some people that are kind of on the fence right now as far as funding. Can maybe afford to get there, but not really to pay for lodging once they're there for a few days. So we thought maybe a way to ease the burden on some of the people that might actually be able to attend would be to rent a house. And you can rent a house for about $700 plus tax for the time we're going to be there. So we put out a $2 for Tulsa perk. So basically anybody who's watching the chats and thinks, hey, that's interesting, you know, we'd have to have 1,400 people participate at that level, I guess. But a bunch of people throwing $2 in there will definitely pay for a portion of the home. I figured I'd throw some of the decks in there. So if you'd like to get some of the Old West Guns playing card decks, you can get a deck for $25, and most of that will go towards the rental of the house. And then if anybody wants to throw in real money, you can get a room named after you. So we have the people. I'm coming from Tucson. I don't really need the house because I'll be living in the van. But we got people coming from Texas, from Arkansas, from Illinois potentially. Cycle Camp's coming from Connecticut. He's already got a place, and I'm not sure about Ralph, but potentially we got people coming from all around the country. I think Mr. Wright's coming up from Texas too, and we got P226 that already lives there. I think Foose might be coming from Arkansas. So the idea of having a home, a place that we rent together, is that instead of having to meet up after the show at a restaurant or somebody's hotel room, and then I'll have to split at some point to go sleep. Everybody would just be able to hang out in a common living room or something until, everybody just takes off, and then be able to save some money on food and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we were also talking about possibly doing live chats from the house.
Well, yeah, obviously that would be an option for people that haven't had their live privileges taken away because they posted horribly violent videos on YouTube. Irresponsibly posted violent videos 3 years ago.
That reminds me, I should probably take down a couple of my shooting videos before they get me.
No, but I would suggest taking any of your videos and moving them over to VidMe as a secondary hosting, because they don't seem to care about things that don't violate terms of service. And that does give you a backup right away. Once your video is flagged, it's taken down. So you don't have an opportunity really, very easily at least, to grab the video yourself and move it over to VidMe. So doing that preventively would definitely be a good move. And you can basically just on your single monitor, open up YouTube on one side of your monitor, open up VidMe on the other side, and open up your playlist or open up your video list and just literally drag and drop from your left side of your screen to your right side of your screen. It's that easy with VidMe. You just click on upload video and drag the URL over to that thing, click yes, and it's done. And it takes all the description and everything from your YouTube and moves it over to VidMe. So I a lot of times will sit here while we're chatting, and then on the other monitor, I'll just be, setting up a whole bunch of videos. The nice thing about VidMe is you can put them into upload now, but then schedule them to display, tomorrow, the next day, the next day. So if you post 12 videos today on VidMe, you can have them scheduled out to go live for the next 12 days. So you've effectively made your copy, gotten your backup from YouTube, and you've scheduled them out on VidMe. So your VidMe channel is bringing out new videos every day. So you've already done your effort over on YouTube. And now you've created a backup over on VidMe, and you're creating a channel.
I think that's something we should maybe bring up or do in one of our how to use the internet.
Sure, we'll do that next Monday.
And actually, like, screen share how to do it, because for some of us, hearing it is not as good as seeing it.
Right on. We'll put that in the list for next Monday.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
So I guess that'll take us into the gun of the day or movie.
Do we even have a gun movie of the day? Oh yeah, the big red one.
Uno momento. Let me get this up on the screen here real
La
fast.
Grande. What's red?
Rojo.
Rojo Uno. La Grande Rojo Uno.
Yeah, that's a really good movie, actually.
It is.
Never seen it, so
Jeez, Jimmy.
hey,
It's a poor education in history.
So it's the big red one is the 1st Infantry Division, and this is a movie about some of the guys from World War I who, are old school. They know the wars, teaching the young guys in World War II. So sort of like Platoon or something, where the guys had been in a previous war and, we're teaching the new guys, except in the setting of the beginning of World War II.
Yeah, because it wasn't that big a stretch in World War I and World War II. So a lot of the guys, lifers, were still in the army, and they had fought. So I mean, they knew what kind of shit was going to hit the fan.
Yeah, and they fought the same motherfuckers, so they were going back to finish the job and shit.
Yeah. Oh, me, Enfield Park.
So you never went to Cantigny?
I don't even know what Cantigny is.
I'm asking Jimmy.
never. I don't even know what it is.
It's a place in the Chicago area that they would take kids to. It was like a guy who owned the Sun Times or the Tribune, I forget. But anyway, some publisher that owned one of the newspapers in town had a big giant fancy mansion, I guess, with a big, what would you call, like the estate, right? So had a big giant building, and you would go tour it. It was like a giant mansion, and you would tour it, and it was from the Prohibition days, so it had like fake walls and stuff for hidden bars, and it was just a giant mansion, like a super rich guy back in the 20s. And then he was in the 1st Infantry, I guess, so he also had a museum there for the 1st Infantry, and they had a bunch of static displays of tanks and stuff out front, and you could camp there.
Man, that'd be really cool. No, we never did that. We did the Nazi museum, the Holocaust museum, or whatever.
It's a lot of fun. So anyway, it was a cool movie. It was like, say, it's black and white World War One, or it's World War II movie, but beginning of World War II, where a lot of the movies seem to be like towards already the end.
Yeah, that's actually it basically still in doubt. Like, nobody knew what was going to happen. You know, the Germans had been just rolling over everyone.
So I'm going to give it 1 thumb up because I don't remember it. It's probably worth 2. I just don't remember it enough.
Yeah, I'm giving it two thumbs up, 2 solid thumbs up. It's a hell of a movie. you know, it's dated because of when it was made, but I mean, the actors in it are really good, and it's pretty realistic in the sense that, you know, the guys did get dirty, not like they really would be, but you know,
but not like the Brady Bunch or something where they're wearing costumes from the period, but they're brand new and clean. They don't want to get them messed up for the wardrobe department.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, a lot of the guns were real guns. I mean, they were authentic guns because they were all readily available when the movie was made. So
now it was made in 1980, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like an old World War II movie where it was made 2 years after the war and they've got all kinds of authentic everything, uniforms, knowledge, vehicles.
Well,
locations.
I mean, in the 80s, a lot of the studios still did have all those props from those early World War II movies. They hadn't gotten rid of that stuff. It was still sitting in warehouses that the production companies owned. Rather, nowadays it's like, you know, you have to find somebody who specializes in supplying movie props. Whereas back in those days, the studios would have, you know, they'd have a cockpit from B-17, you know, just all kinds of stuff like that, like a whole fuselage from B-17 because they used it in the movie, and they wouldn't get rid of it. They just put it in the warehouse. So that's why a lot of, like, you'll see after probably the 80s, 90s, I think you saw less authenticity, and then it got better probably in the 2000s. So there was a while there where it was getting really hard to find the real military cert or the real military equipment.
Was it a thing back in them days, the hip shoot, or was that just a movie thing?
No, it was a thing. They actually, that was one of the ways you were taught to shoot. I think it was, oh man, who was it? But not the SAS, the spy agencies back then. They actually taught to hold the gun right at your belly button, and you turned your body, like for close-in combat, and kept that gun close to your body so nobody could grab it, and you literally shot from pointing your body at someone. It's a really weird concept.
Well, I guess it's smart, like you were saying, for not being disarmed.
It was, yeah, I can't remember who the heck was teaching that. It was some guy who was famous as a detective in Hong Kong. He was a British guy. And he'd been in, I don't know how many gunfights in Hong Kong, because I guess back then it was like the Old West. So he was, that was their close combat expert with a pistol, because he had all these gunfights in Hong Kong.
Yeah, and that's crazy. You would think that they used swords or something like that out there. Nunchucks.
No, they pretty much picked up firearms pretty well. They saw the advantage. They saw the light.
All right. Well, so that's the movie of the day. Are we going to do the gun of the day?
Sure, why not? What is the gun of the day today, Bob?
Today is the 1800 Baker pattern rifle used by the British. And this has a American connection. This was used by the British in the Napoleonic War, most famously. So it was pretty much used to 1800 to 1850, something like that. So you're looking at about a 60 caliber ball, rifled muzzle, extremely accurate for its day. Flintlock, just a really beautiful gun, right? And it came about, why the British decided they were going to have a company of riflemen was during the uprisings in the colonies. Some people were using rifled hunting rifles, and they were picking off the British officers. It was just appalling. I mean, it was totally against the standard practice of the day, which was you don't shoot the officers; they're gentlemen. But yeah, apparently the British decided, hey, you know what? That worked pretty well. We should get us some of those rifle guns. So yeah, that's how come the British were using rifle, and it was a special unit, right? Because everybody else had smoothbore muskets that you could load faster, but the rifle gun, of course, you could actually hit targets that apparently out to, I think I've seen them shoot them out to about 1,000 yards. But you know, standard range would be 200 to 300 yards. But when everybody else has got a smoothbore musket, you are hitting a guy way before he can hit you.
Oh yeah.
And these guys, you know, the riflemen were specially trained. They often were, you know, kind of the, you know, the less disciplined. They were considered a little less disciplined because they were to skirmish, right? Unlike the regular British soldiers stand in a line, shoulder to shoulder. These guys would go up front and use cover. So yeah, they were quite the force multiplier of their day.
Yeah, or like this guy had made him lazy.
Yep. Oh yeah. Taught you how to shoot like that, and apparently it worked quite well. I mean, it looks awesome as hell.
You see that his leg is all bent over and he's shooting off of his like calf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to feel great.
Well, you know, it's a good steady rest.
But they were probably, this is how you'd have to teach Canadians to shoot because they're always going to be sleeping.
Actually, Canadians, we got stuck with them stupid muskets, smoothbore muskets. We didn't get too many rifles. We had to supply our own.
What was that one guy at the green? It looks like he has it in his mouth. That guy, is he sucking on it?
Oh no, he's just got it very far away.
It shows how it's line of sight down the middle.
I gotcha.
But yeah, that was another thing. They didn't wear the red uniforms. It's another thing they kind of learned from the rebels in the colonies. That'd be you guys.
Well, you're also not a very big target, I guess, if you're laying down like that.
Yeah, and when
Kind of hard to hit you.
everybody else,
They do hit you. It goes right up your foot, and then your groin, and then your guts. That would hurt.
Oh yeah, but they had hobnail boots, right?
What?
Steel hobnail boots. So they had steel spikes in the bottom of their boots. They would deflect bullets.
For real?
Yeah, hang on. There was a picture.
They did have hobnails, but yeah, I don't know if they'd actually deflect the bullet. But yeah, they had like spikes on well, hobnails. So it was like they had nails in the bottom of their boots.
Oh, well.
Keep the leather from it.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
I thought that was just like a weird snowshoe, like a Canadian snowshoe where they didn't get the concept, so they made it the same size as their
Oh
shoe.
no, you see, what he's got punties over top of his, because that's not a boot, that's a shoe. And then they put like a punty over top, which is kind of like a covering.
You can keep saying that. Doesn't mean we're going to know what weird word you're saying.
Punty, it's
We don't have weird clothes like that here. We have boots and we have shoes. That's it.
No, you guys used them in World War I. You guys used punties. Well, I didn't call them something else, but it's basically a covering.
Call them a boot.
Your ankle and the top of your boot so that your laces don't get abraded. And I think that's a theory on it anyway. But yeah, it all from getting.
All right. So now the gun of the day turned into footwear of the olden days.
But no, this is a rifle. I love to get it. Good. I finding an original really hard. But yeah, I think it was really cool. Like I said, they have that.
All right. So that was the gun of the day. We've already done the gun shop of the day. We did the gun shop tour of the day. And then we did that. And we're going to talk about gun history at all. I think we missed the 23rd. Was it the 23rd? No, that's something the other day. We missed Day of the Deployed. So we mentioned that one. And then today in 1864, Nevada became our 36th state. So happy birthday, Nevada. And then it also says here that in 1941, after 14 years of work, Mount Rushmore was completed. So Mount Rushmore, 1941. Do we care about 1952? The U.S. explodes the first hydrogen bomb in the Pacific.
Negligible.
Then I guess another one that's interesting is 1968. Today in 1968, we ended the bombing of North Vietnam. 1971, same date, today, Saigon began the release of 1,938 POWs. All right, well, that's some history that has anything to do with guns a little bit.
All right, so what's going on tonight? Anything?
Tonight is Tuesday, so right after this usually is a chat run by Pants or Pawnery, where you can just hang out and chat, take some of the subjects from here and expand on them, or talk about whatever you want. Then we've got Gun News Network coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? 4 p.m. Eastern? I don't know. Do we have it on the schedule already?
I don't know.
I didn't put it there. If it is.
I'm looking at the schedule now. So anyway, we've got Gun News Network coming up today, I think. And then after that is today's Tuesday, so Andalusia Armory.
Yep.
Followed by Ghost. Like I say, we'll be talking about the Tulsa thing then. Then that's Tactical Tuesday. Hit or Miss is at 9, and then Big Gunner is at 10. So it looks like we don't have Gun News Network in the schedule right now. So we'll have to add that and figure out what days he's doing it and at what times. Does that give us enough time to get Moon to tell us? Is he over there? No. Okay. So that's most of what's coming up tonight. If you ever want to start doing a live show, feel free. If you want to participate in the ones that are there, you can check them out over on Gun Channels, over on the YouTubes.
Just as to give everybody a heads up, got to remember what's coming on the second. Every second matters. So keep your calendars open for that.
That's a good point. That's Thursday.
Right, Thursday.
Somebody else will have to host it unless I get my live privileges back.
We'll figure something out. Get it hosted.
So today is the last day to jump in on the Patreon, and I should also mention, if the $50 isn't an option for you, it certainly is not an option for me. I am going to be buying just random stuff. Like I was at the Fort Worth gun shop or gun show, and there was that brass knuckle dagger thing that some guy basically forced me to buy it off of him for $15. So something like that. I put it out on the table at the gun show in Prescott. Nobody bought it. So I think I'm just going to send it out to a random person who's participating at the $5 or more level over on the Patreon. And I'll probably do that with a couple other things as well, to say thanks to the people that are really paying the bills to get me to Tulsa. Some of that's coming from the people doing the $50 one. Eventually, once we get 150 people participating at that level, that will pay the bills. But right now, the people paying for the gas to get to Tulsa are at the $5 and lowers levels there. So I'm going to do something for the people that are participating at those levels at a random level. Obviously, there's not enough to give everybody something extra, but I can definitely give a group something extra randomly each.
Yeah, cool.
Just real quick for who else was coming on tonight. Ellis is going to be doing a chat at 6 Eastern, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Well, I think that's got everything. We should just wrap this up with our quote and shut her down for today. So let's see here. Oh shit! How did I manage to do that?
Is that the quote? That's a horrible quote.
Where'd my quote go? I lost my quote. Hang on. I'll be right. 2 seconds.
Very lackluster quote today.
God damn! I've been doing that lady. I don't know whether it's the computer or me.
Yeah, I don't know if it is it must be the computer going in and swapping your shit all around.
Well, I swore I did. On the other computer, it should have came up, but I know what happened.
Did you try doing undo?
No, I know what happened. Yeah. No problem though. I've got it. Fine. So, where was it? That's a good one too. There we go. All right. This one's by Thomas Jefferson. But before I do that, I would like to remind everybody, please like, share, subscribe, thumbs up. That all helps us. And if you can, support us on Patreon. We talked about that, but I'll just talk about some more because I always do. Anyway, our quote, Thomas Jefferson. I sincerely believe that banking establishments are more dangerous than standing armies. By Thomas Jefferson. And those are wise words. From one of the founding fathers. So thanks very much for watching, everybody, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.